Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Chris Stodinger with Pretty Gritty Tours, and we are about to do a live tour of Old City Hall here.
Old City Hall, the pride and joy of Tacoma, built in 1893. So what we're currently looking at here is the main level, and it is completely abandoned, as you can see. Originally, this level would have housed a lot of the municipal offices, but later on in life they converted it into sort of an indoor multi-shopping center. There were restaurants on this level, as well as various, smaller businesses like hair salons, local real estate firms, things along those lines. And as we're walking through here, you can see what used to be part of the restaurant. Now, the building itself is made of a combination of materials. The base level of it is local Wilkinson sandstone, and that measures 8 feet thick at the bottom of this building. As it goes up, it turns into red brick, and then the exterior of the building is actually faced with this yellow brick that was most likely brought over as ballast brick on ships. Now, as we're navigating through here, you can see actually signage for one of the local businesses. And we'll come through here onto what would have been the main thoroughfare. And it's been decorated to sort of look like a street with street lamps on it. So this operated as the City Hall building from 1893 until 1959. And then, after that period of time, it went through several adaptations, including that sort of multiplex, where I believe at its peak it had 40 local businesses and 2 restaurants inside. We're going to curve around the corner here and take you back out into the main sort of belly of the building. Over to our left here is the staircase that ascends all the way up to the 5th floor. Right here is one of the main entrances that you access, and then this is the staircase that can take us all the way up. Now, interestingly, the building was completed in 1893, and then 5 years later they added the bell tower to Old City Hall, and it's designated as a separate freestanding structure. It's not part of the original construction of the building, and the sides of the bell tower actually slope inwards, giving it the illusion of being taller than it actually is. Now, as we ascend the stairs here, we're going to arrive on the 2nd floor, and we can talk a little bit about that. Now, in the mid-2000s, the building was purchased by the Stratford Company, who was going to turn it into condos. However, in 2008, a fire alarm got triggered and 80,000 gallons of water flooded this building. So as we go through, you can sort of see where a lot of the water damage was. I'll try and point that out. But these little enclaves would have been, professional offices at various points throughout the history of Old City Hall. And it was designed that way in the beginning to hold the city council office, the local library, shipping, customs, processing, to really be not only the architectural and visual hub of Tacoma, but also the municipal heart of it as well. Currently, what we're looking at here, these were adaptations made in 2000 beyond to turn this into a condo building. However, for a variety of reasons, that never happened. So there's just this ghostly shell inside Old City Hall now. I was warned when I came in here to be careful where I stepped, because not all of this is original flooring. You can kind of tell which one is actual hardwood, but a lot of this on certain levels is actually just sheetrock. We're going to swing back around here, and I want to take you up another level here. As we swing back down this direction, we're going to head back towards the main staircase. Now, at some point in the building's history, they ended up installing 2 elevators, neither of which has been running for a long period of time, but the original way up and down would have been this master staircase here. Now, Now, Old City Hall was actually designated to be torn down, but in 1974, it was placed on the National Registry of Historic Places, which gave it some protection. The city of Tacoma was hoping that that would raise enough funds to protect it, and it raised some interest and some money, but just enough to bring those businesses down on that main level, not enough to actually give all of the renovations that the building needed. And since that time, it's really slipped into disrepair. In fact, here you can see there's just parts of the floor missing here and there. So there's an incredible potential with these views and all this space, not to mention just the incredible, there's graffiti everywhere, the incredible, visual aspect of this building and the historical side of it. There's a lot that could be done with it, but you're going to have to put some money back into it. Now, this level was originally designed to be the library, I believe. Like I mentioned, Old City Hall was supposed to be the main civic center of the city, and they wanted this whole level to be a public library for the town of Tacoma. This is, in my opinion, the most gorgeous floor of the building, although simultaneously the creepiest. There's a weird sound that's sort of always kind of in the background here, and I can't quite place it. It's almost like there's a window loose and it's getting knocked around, but it seems close. The ceiling, though, just the whole floor here is beautiful. And I don't necessarily want to stay here too much longer. Besides, I need to take you to the very cool part of this building, which is the bell tower. So we're going to have to go up another floor, and then there's going to be a very narrow staircase that goes through the completely windowless section that houses the mechanism for the clock. Now, if I'm not mistaken, the last time the clock was actually serviced was in the 1970s, and it's got all the original mechanical pieces up there. It just hasn't been maintained. Now we've got two routes that we can take here. There's the elevators, and then through this door over there, actually up into the bell tower. But past these offices, I want to show you one of the very cool parts of this building. We're actually going to take a look back here really quick. I forget what it was that was housed in this office, but just over here on the corner, you can see that there's like a fine film on the floor, and this is what was left of one of the carpets that was so destroyed by the water. It's also completely full of pigeon droppings right now. We're going to swing back here and head left, and we're going to take you up to the greenhouse that's on the roof of Old City Hall. So let's take you up this staircase really quick and give you a look at the greenhouse that was up here. Now, I'm trying to remember if it was in the greenhouse itself or in one of the rooms on this level here, but there was a crepe restaurant at one point that looked out over on the water, and a lot of the people who had a history, who are actually around when Old City Hall had the businesses in the 70s and 80s, have talked very fondly of this restaurant. As you can see, a few people have been inside and left their mark since that time. We're going to have to check the sign up here, but I think it was either a real estate firm or a mortgage company. Let's see here. Oh no, city offices. Federal Housing Commission was up here. But this is personally one of my favorite parts of Old City Hall. You have this sort of setup here for it to have been different offices, but it's got this giant solarium up here, which is surprisingly more or less intact. The roof of Old City Hall, here's the bell tower here. The roof of Old City Hall originally had these copper tiles on it, and when those got removed, the local auction house, Sanford & Son, had the good sense to actually bring those in and sell them. There are still a few available. Better roof was put on the whole building, but the solarium up here has remained very well intact. curve around here. We're going to head south again through the building, and then you can see these round windows right up here, which, if you've seen any of the exterior of Old City Hall before, are very easy to see. They signify this tall floor up here. We're going to go left and then take you up into the bell tower. I'm going to have to sort of curve around here. It's not the easiest to find, but you go around, and there's this sort of makeshift staircase that leads up into what I think was some sort of private penthouse. It looks like it was a small office and probably had a wet bar in the back of it. But it has these gorgeous round windows here that I'm a huge fan of and have such an amazing view of the city. So as you see here, we're actually looking straight down Pacific Avenue. You can see the Tacoma Dome there in the distance. All right, just to our right here is a weird staircase adaptation, and then around behind this wall, we're actually going to start the ascent up into another private apartment. They're just getting narrower. Up we go. Now this, for me, would be the office I want. It's got the staircase that goes up into the bell tower, the wet bar back there in the corner, and really incredible views. And it has the shadiest trapdoor I've seen in a while. So we're going to go up through this trapdoor and then in to the section where the clock mechanism is. It's hard to see with this light, but if I can find a good way to position it, I'll show you the actual working of the clock mechanism. I think I'm going to have to light up the propane lantern here so we can get a little more ambient light for the rest of this journey. But right around the corner here, you get a look at the lower section, and then we're going to go up another staircase yet again. I'm going to get my cardio on today. And you get to see the main body of the machine that actually turns the hands on the four faces of the clock. So this machine here from 1898, I believe, would have just had a variety of different weights on it, and through the counterbalance measures of it would turn the hands of the clock, and just had to be maintained semi-regularly. You can see it's all the original gears up here. Gorgeous piece of machinery. We're going to go up, I think, one, maybe two more staircases, and then take you up into the actual part of the tower where the bells are located. Here we go. The bells were cast by the same company that did the Liberty Bell, and they were a gift from Hugh C. Wallace, a Tacoma resident who was the U.S. ambassador to France during World War I and was instrumental in the Treaty of Versailles. He unfortunately lost his daughter to tuberculosis, and so he donated the bells that are up here in this tower. And as you can see, it's got that architecture that makes it look taller than it actually is. But we're approaching this upper level here. The bells are in incredible condition, and we're actually going to ring one here so you get that true sound of it, but they still sound and look phenomenal.
It is quite windy up here, so what we're gonna do is actually descend all the way now to the basement of Old City Hall, and I'm gonna show you guys the prison cells that are down there. So come on. Mechanism for the clock down here, and if you can kind of follow along, these are the poles that would have actually rung the bells. All right, 5 stories down, and we'll be back in the basement. I'll try not to lose connection as we go. Now, since being in here on the 3rd and 4th floor, I thought I've heard, I don't know, someone moving around maybe? I haven't seen anyone yet. I'm told that they just recently found someone living in Old City Hall. So we're going to be cautious as we go along. I don't know, we've lost signal, I think, but I hope you guys are still with me. You can see the original furnace here. And a lot of the original machinery is still here as well. But what we're really interested in is just down here. Past another staircase to nowhere. These are the prison cells. And as you can tell, this is not a spot I would ever want to be in jail. You go in through here, they've got a food portal, ways for them to slip stuff in through the gate. And this is the interior. Now it's interesting, I don't know if you can make it out, but above here it says Siberia. This was actually the isolation cell. Over on this side, we have another one. We're gonna make our way back now. See what we can find. So we're actually going to continue on through the building this direction. So you can still see all of the various bars. And then right here is the entrance to the corridor outside Pacific Brewing. So right through there, you'd be in the alleyway. And that used to be a conduit that they would take prisoners to the police station that was next door. As you can see, there's a series of underground passages where they still had all of the cells. We're going to move our way back out of this area. And exit. See more of this basement level here? Go back, see if we can get the live stream.
Well, thank you guys so much for joining me today. If you need any more information or you want to join us on a tour, you can find us at prettygrittytours.com, and we look forward to seeing you out there.